Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. Sorry for keep you waiting. Apologies. Newcastle lose at home at St James's Park. The unbeaten are beaten in St James's Park, and Manchester City smash young boys. And Haaland scores a brace. Manchester United win, probably a good step to the coming round. And Arsenal beat Sevilla away from home 2-1. Everyone is happy at Arsenal. But we have an awkward conversation about Odegaard. But Declan Rice, he's convincing me. I'm here today, of course, with a guest. It is debut. He's going to talk Newcastle. We're going to talk everything as well about the Champions League. It's the one and only. I've seen him on other stream. Make sure to hit that like button. If you just join, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And Steve, welcome to the stream. Big up. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. And thank you for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing good.
I'm doing all right. Welcome everybody that joined from This Is Football, of course, from Osama's stream. Make sure to hit that like button if you just joined us. Of course, Steve sending the support for the channel. Thank you, Steve, for your support. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we'll talk. I want to start. I know that you want to start with Newcastle. And let's start with Newcastle as well. Can you turn off these changing lights next to you, if that's possible? Like make them fixed on one light. They just keep changing in front of me, and it's very hard. Like you can have one light.
Yeah. I'll just do this.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect, actually. Yeah, people. We spoke about Manchester City. We have not spoken about Newcastle, and I want you to give the people a little bit. People, hit that like button. Get me to 50 likes right away. What did you see today in the Newcastle game? Was that a bad game, or it was just unlucky?
Well, Borussia Dortmund, they did their homework on us. I thought they were really good, to be honest. And I thought I don't think we played as good as as I thought we might have, to be honest. But I thought Borussia Dortmund played really, really well. I thought Nico Schlotterbeck had a great game, a really, really good game. He was imposing. He was defending very nice and calm. He was just heading balls out. He honestly did a great job. Same with Rami Bensebaini, who I rate really highly. I think in terms of left backs, he's very underrated for me. I like Bensebaini a lot. He's got the height.
So how does that game reflect in the league?
I think we'll draw with Wolves, to be honest. We always draw with Wolves 1-1 at the Molineux, to be honest. So this game, it's gonna be it was a tough game. It was a tough game. I thought they were the better team, to be honest. I thought Imekia was again another player that stood out for me. They kept possession well, and when they didn't have the ball, we had a few opportunities. I think we hit the bar twice. In the 80s.
You hit the bar. You hit the bar, actually. You hit the bar twice. Callum Wilson missed clear-cut chances. But Isaac is injured. And I want to ask you a question. Yeah. People said Newcastle. I want to tell you what I saw in the game. I saw Newcastle a little bit slower. Newcastle
lacking intensity.
They're lacking intensity. Let me just finish. So Newcastle was slower a little bit. Some of the players, their head went down after Isaac injury. That's not a good sign. When Murphy got injured, I saw Joe Willock coming. He's not ready to play yet. Yeah. And I thought that you should have won the game based on the chances you created. But the goalkeeper was very good as well. But this is not a good sign going to the league, because we know that you have to hit the good form to catch the top four. That's not a good sign.
No, definitely not. It was not ideal today. Today was not ideal. It wasn't our night tonight. But Dortmund also made us, they neutralized us for a lot of the part. Like you said, I thought we played a bit slower tonight than usual. I think there was some patches in the game, maybe like the last 10 or 15, where we kind of looked like our usual selves. I thought Gordon had an all right game tonight, to be fair.
I think he's overrated.
I mean, it depends. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's amazing.
That's about it. For me, that's about it.
Yeah,
he's an okay player. Good player, Not a bad player, but he's
Yeah.
overrated.
Yeah, well, if people are saying anything other than he's a good player, then yeah, they're doing too much. So that's where I would agree. Okay, yeah, maybe they're overrated. But like he had a good game, relatively speaking. Almiron really, 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 really pissed me off. I love him. I love Miggy Almiron, but like the quality sometimes is just there to show. Let's be real. But yeah, that wasn't really it was disappointing about Isak as well, definitely, because it's like I love having the two strikers in Isak and Wilson having I think we can get about 20 goals apiece from them in all comps, both of them by themselves around there, 15 to 20. But the injuries I do worry about, I can't lie, because Wilson, he's got injury problems. Isak, he's got some injury problems.
I actually don't think Callum Wilson is all of that. Actually, that's another point.
No? All right,
No.
go on. Talk
I
to me.
actually don't think that Callum Wilson is all of that. Like Callum Wilson is
Again, good player.
top 10, maybe a top 6 player. He isn't actually like a top 4
He's an
player
ideal
at all.
backup. He's
a backup player. Like the way that people talk about Callum Wilson, I'm like, he's not that guy. He's never been. He's an all right player since he was, I think, at Bournemouth.
Yeah, he's a good
He's
player.
an okay player.
Yeah.
But people say, oh, Callum Wilson scores this. Callum Wilson's overrated. And I think he's overrated. But I wanted, so before we move on, this is your chances now of advancing in the group relies so much on actually winning away in Germany. Because if you lose away in Germany, you're 3 points behind. You play PSG after that in France. I don't think you win that game.
Probably a lot, yeah.
I think it gets complicated. And as I said, I like this Newcastle team. I like the way they play football. Yeah. I think in the Champions League, you lack experience. The way you won against PSG is all adrenaline. But I still think Newcastle in the Champions League are still a little bit soft. Everybody in the chat, can you stop what you're doing right now? And I want the likes to go up. There's a 90 people here. The like button, as you know, is underneath your live chat. Close the live chat, hit that like button because it's so crucial, because the like button is the only way this channel will get subscribers, the only channel this video will be seen. So hit that like button for me, please. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's how we get new people here. We're moving on. So if I actually think you shouldn't go to Europa League, I think you should get knocked out of the Champions League unless you qualify 100%. Really? I think playing Thursday nights will hinder your chances of catching up to the top 4, will hinder your chances of winning the cup that you're left at. So I think, in my opinion, you should definitely, if push comes to shove, the last game, I know that it doesn't happen in clubs, but I think Newcastle should absolutely not play Thursday football. It doesn't matter. You won't win it. Playing Thursday and Sunday isn't for everybody. You don't have the depth. You don't have the experience. Sure. I think there will be team that will knock you out. Yeah. That's what I think.
Sorry. Go on. I cut you
off. No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just going to say, but don't you think, though, that, like you said, about the experience, the lack of experience we have, don't you think that if we did get into the 3rd place position of the Champions League group, which is where I do think we'll end up. And I said that before the group started, because this is a very tough group. It was always going to be. I thought we were going to win tonight 3-2, but I was always very wary, because I watch Borussia Dortmund. I love watching football around the continent regularly. I knew that they had goals in them, and I also knew that it's similar to Arsenal in terms of they don't look as scary going forward, but they've played defensively a lot of good games this year. They beat FC Köln 1-0 at home where they weren't great, but they got the job done and they kept a clean sheet and defended well against them. Same thing against Werder Bremen the game before this. So I knew what I was kind of getting. I did think that we could score some, but I knew they had some in them. But in regards to us, if we finish bottom or...
Can I ask you something different?
Go on.
If Newcastle, and everybody in the chat, if Newcastle get out of the group and to the round of 16, how far can Newcastle go? Everybody in the chat, I want your answer, please. There's 100 people here. Give me, where do you think Newcastle can finish in this Champions League campaign if they get out of the group? Let me know in the chat. Quickly, let me know. And Steve, give me your answer.
I think we probably bow out of the round of 16.
That's it.
Probably. I mean, it depends who we get, obviously, in the round of 16. Maybe a quarterfinal, but it is a big ask. Maximum quarterfinal, I would say, but you never know. But it all depends who you get in the round of 16. But looking at like who's the group leaders and whatnot right now, and just based off what I've seen from everyone, like probably round of 16 quarterfinal. I try to be reasonable when it comes to Newcastle. You know what I'm saying? So, but tonight definitely wasn't our night in terms of like finishing and stuff, and that sometimes is one of the things that kind of something we got to work on. But overall, like we've done. If you said that we get about 4 points from our first 3 games, yeah, I would probably take that. To be honest,
if you come second and you face Atletico Madrid or Feyenoord, you'll fancy your chances.
Oh, Feyenoord, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about either one of those, to be honest, because with Feyenoord, we could talk
You're
about
underestimating Newcastle, but yeah. You're really underestimating them.
Feyenoord. We have history with Feyenoord too in the UEFA Cup, early 2000s, Bellamy, last minute at the Kuyp. So I guess maybe you're right about that, but that would be a really good matchup against like a Feyenoord or an Atletico Madrid or something. Atletico, I think, would probably beat us over 2 legs. Maybe we could scrape. Nobody's getting a result at the Kuyp right now. Nobody.
Let's shift a little bit of gears out of Newcastle and talk about Manchester City. I'm not sure if you watched the highlights. Listen, people, all I can tell you that Manchester City defensively is not as solid as what we thought in the beginning of the season. You concede a lot of chances. They have spaces behind them. Rodri by himself cannot do the job. Matthias Nunes and Kovacic today wide open in that midfield. And I thought that this Manchester City team, if they don't score goals, they concede goals. But at the moment, they score goals. They create some chances up top. Haaland is missing some. I think this Manchester City team will concede chances this year, will concede chances this season. It's all about how clinical. Like if Manchester City concede that amount of chances against an Aston Villa, it wouldn't be easy for them. If they concede that amount of chances against Liverpool, it's not easy for them because I think Liverpool punished them big time. The other problem I see in this Man City team is that they're not as fluid in terms of creating chances. They were a little bit today against Young Boys, but Young Boys weren't great.
I thought Young Boys were efficient, actually.
So how many? So people are like, people are saying how many chances Young Boys had in this game. I saw 3 chances. They scored 1 in the beginning of that. 3 clear-cut chances, if I'm not mistaken. Clear-cut. What I mean, like the opposition should have scored, and that's a lot for Manchester City to concede. That's not something that Manchester City normally don't concede that many clear-cut chances in a game against Young Boys. I think that's a little bit concerning. Young Boys played well, but again, they are limited, though. You know what I mean? They are a limited team. They aren't a team.
I like the goalkeeper, Racciopi. He used to be at I think he's a Lyon Academy product. I think he had a good game, definitely.
But listen, I don't know anybody from this team. I don't think that anybody is important in Young Boys. I think they will. I think actually at the moment, even with this Manchester City team, do we consider them the favorites to win the title? I am not sure, to be honest.
Premier League or UCL?
The UCL. I'm talking about the Champions League. In the Premier League, they are the strongest. But with Harry Kane at Bayern, also Bayern are not the strongest. Real Madrid, you can say Barcelona, Inter. I still think they are the favorites, in my opinion. Guys in the chat, do you think Man City are the favorites to win the title in the Champions League? Are Man City the favorites to win the Champions League? While you do that, hit that like button. We're not even on 50 likes yet, and we're over 100 people. This is embarrassing. Hit that like button. The like button is the only way Do you want me to show you how to hit that like button?
That's
It's
pretty
very
easy.
simple.
Very easy.
It's very simple, people. It's underneath your live chat. Let me just get.
It's a
It's
thumb.
right there.
A thumb.
It's right
I'm
there.
being
You
told. I'm
have to
being
click
told it's a thumb.
X. You have to click X, and then the like button is a thumbs up, as you can see. Hit that like button, get us to some like 50 more, 100 likes. It's easy. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps the channel massively, and it's not going to affect you. If you don't have an account, make an account. But the chances,
Yeah.
we saw Arsenal yesterday beat Sevilla away. I think that will give them confidence. We saw Man United beat Copenhagen. It was an underwhelming performance, but against Manchester City, this Arsenal team, can they win the title? That's a $1 million question. Can they win the Premier League title?
I still think Arsenal a bit of a work in progress. I'm not gonna lie. No,
After 5 years?
Yeah, yeah, I do, because I still got questions. Sorry about my camera. I don't know what happened. I still think there's some questions about Arteta, just like there's still questions I think about Xavi. Just like I still think there are questions about Edin Terzic at Dortmund, and there's still questions about like an Eddie Howe at Newcastle. I know that those are all 4 different teams, 4 different levels, but all those managers, to me, like they have really good games of football. They can, good coaches and whatever. But there are still things where it's like, yeah, you still have questions about them. And Arteta, I think he did a great job last year. They did bottle it, but things happen. Man City, they are who they are. But I still do think Arsenal are a work in progress. Like, I don't think they're gonna win the title this year. So maybe down the line, like they have a bunch, bunch of good young players, and they're all gonna grow together. But I still do think they need to be a bit stronger. Wasn't a fan of the Havertz signing for them. Obviously, don't rate him. But like, yeah, I just don't think I don't think quite yet Arsenal are title favorites for me or anything. Could they run it close? Yeah. But do I think Liverpool are going to run Man City closer? I think so. I do think so, because I know that Liverpool can score goals at will, and they have guys off the bench that can also score goals. Just, easy.
I actually disagree. I still think Arsenal and Liverpool both
Yeah.
will challenge Man City for the title. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, they could.
I get people want to say that this Man City team, wait until you see the real Man City team, which is fine with me. Like, this Man City team is fine with me, but you like a little bit of Kevin De Bruyne. You like a little bit of off the bench Riyad Mahrez. That's what I think Man City like a little bit. And I'm waiting to see this Manchester City team. I still think they are closer to win the title. I think they might be favorites to win the Champions League as well. I absolutely think that Manchester City still, even though I think they are weaker than last year, for me, I think they're still closer to win the title, because I don't think anybody, I think some people are close, but I don't think people will be able to win it over Manchester City, because I know that in the second half of the season, Pep Guardiola will be able to create a formula that will win 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
Do I trust Arteta to do that? No. Jurgen Klopp, if he get a DM and they keep winning games, I will say that maybe they are as close as Manchester City to win the title. And that would be my opinion. If Liverpool keep it intact, keep within touching distance from the top, and go get a proper DM in the January transfer window, they will be equal to Manchester City. Manchester City this year. Manchester City without... Yes, without Mahrez, without Gundogan. KDB is injured, and he has hamstring injury. I don't know how he will come back. I don't know how good will he be when he comes back. But people, still hit that like button. Over 100 people. Sure. Arsenal, Manchester United. We're going to have a preview for Manchester United on Friday, and Manchester City, the Manchester Derby. I think this game is going to be tough. I'm going to talk about it in detail, but I really want to still talk about Manchester City and Arsenal. Is the gap closer? Do you think the gap is closer than last year?
Nah, I still think Man City have kind of an arm's length gap on them. I think when push comes to shove, Man City still do have that pedigree, and they have the recent success, obviously. And Arsenal, like I said, I still don't think they're there yet. They've got something really interesting going on. My question is Arteta that guy to do it? I think he could benefit from doing what Xabi Alonso has done. Kind of like go to a Leverkusen, somewhere where it's not a huge club, but it's a relatively big club, and they've got some, and they're playing fantastic right now in Europa League and in the Bundesliga. Somewhere like that would be like, okay, that maybe Arteta has to go there first, and then he can go to one of the the really big clubs like the Arsenals and the those kind of guys. So maybe that's something that's what I've kind of thought last year, where it was like maybe he just needs to go to a different league or a different environment or somewhere where there's a bit less pressure and maybe less money to spend, so that he really has to focus on how do I get the most out of the team. Like at Leverkusen, you can't go and waste 60 odd million on Havertz. You have to go and find players like Boniface from Union Saint-Gilloise for about 20 million pounds. You got to find your Nathan Tellis from Southampton. You got to find, those kind of guys. So for me, that's kind of where Arteta, I don't know if he'll do it at Arsenal. Do I think he has it in him to kind of prove me wrong a bit? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they did win a title in the next 2 years or 3, if he's afforded that grace. But I do think maybe he could benefit from doing what Xabi Alonso did. Maybe if he went to a Real Sociedad or Betis or somewhere like that. It doesn't have to be those kind of clubs, but somewhere just a tier down from Arsenal. I'd be very interested to see what Arteta could do. I think he could learn a lot. I think he could learn a lot from managing in different leagues as well. But yeah, I think with Man City, I know what I'm getting. I know that right now they're not performing, but we have a lot of previous examples of, okay, Man City, they start this way and then they eventually carry on to, go and win a title or something like that, or at least get second place. Only Klopp and Liverpool were able to stop them in the COVID year. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
It wasn't in the COVID year. They won the league the year before.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the year that it got cut off when the COVID happened in like March or April or something. Maybe somewhere.
Yeah. Guys, hit that like button. Send your questions in. Send the discussions in this day of Manchester City and Newcastle win. Arsenal, send me your questions so I can answer them. We can get the conversation going as well. It's a Q&A as well. So send questions. Let me know what you think.
Just don't ask me about these guys.
Newcastle are going for Calvin Phillips. I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah,
I 100% think that's a big mistake. You do not put your hopes on someone to revive their career. If he's an addition to your club, you do that. But Calvin Phillips will be someone who is going to be there, is going to be replaced Tonali. So I don't think they should do. I don't think they should do that. I think if you're going to get someone to replace Tonali, who's an established player, you get an established player. You don't get someone who had a year and a half of not playing enough football. That's the problem. MC, I'm going to try to see if I can get questions. Send your super chats in as well. That will help the channel. Of course, a question here. What do you think of Haaland? What do you think of Haaland, Brighton goal, and today's second goal? I said second goal today was absolutely fantastic, my friend.
Yeah.
Second goal today from Haaland is top notch, in my opinion. Top notch today, in my opinion. Because to finish with the weaker foot is that good and cut inside, I think it's absolutely fantastic. That's the Haaland we saw last year. People said only tap-ins. No, Haaland last year finished a lot of good chances.
Yeah.
Lots of good chances as well.
Yeah.
So that's the Haaland I'm waiting. Haaland today dropped deep, got involved in the play, distributed the ball a lot left and right, which is, I think, that's what you need from him. If the chances are not coming your way by being a stationary striker, move, create chances. That's what I need you to do. Doku today was good. And I'm going to give a shout to Jack Grealish, who actually was very positive today. Direct. But this Jack Grealish is the one that I waited for last year. People tell me it's instructions or non-instructions. I don't care. The Jack Grealish of today, the direct Jack Grealish that goes to the goal, was absolutely the Jack Grealish we're talking about. The Jack Grealish, I told you, maybe he needed a competition. Maybe he needed a Doku on that side. So that's today. The pick of the bunch today is not only Haaland scoring. I watched the highlights, and every touch for Jack Grealish he did created something. So I think Jack Grealish today gave Manchester City something different. Something different than the Jack Grealish that was last year there. But people said I have an agenda against Jack Grealish. I'm giving him props because he was a direct winger today, created enough chances today, terrorized the defense today by his dribbling and his directness toward them. That's what I'm talking about. That's the Jack Grealish I want. Haaland today dropped deep, created chances, distributed to Jack Grealish left and to Doku's right. That's something.
You really saw Haaland. I watched a few games at once. I got a bunch of TVs and stuff. I was watching I was obviously mainly watching the Newcastle and Paris Saint-Germain Milan game. But yeah, when I did look at the young boys in Man City game, I really felt like Haaland connected very well, like you said, with both the wingers, because he did drop back a bit. Doku is a player that is he's very exciting, man. Estagane, whenever I watched him, the guy was electric. The injuries were always a problem, and I think finishing his chances, he's got to improve on that. But like, there's so much talent there in Doku, and same with Grealish. I agree with you, man. Like, damn, he really was. He gave Man City a different dimension in attack, some different qualities to Doku, which is like, something that, and I think Jack Grealish has done a really good job. He's done a really good job, but I think there's another level that he could possibly go to. I think he's important in that Man City team. There is a reason why Pep Guardiola plays him. But yeah, I think Man City, to answer your question, I think a little bit earlier about, like, do I still consider them favorites to win the UCL? Yeah, I probably would, to be honest. Do I think they'll win it? No, just because it is very, very difficult to repeat as a UEFA Champions League or even a European Cup winner. I think only 3 or 4 teams have ever done that, with Real Madrid being the most recent, and that was with Cristiano Ronaldo, who was just unbelievable. And you had Benzema, and you had Bale, and you had those that legendary crew. So it's like, it's tricky. It is tricky. But if anyone can repeat as a Champions League back-to-back winner, Man City absolutely could.
Let me get this comment super chat from Salimani. Thank you so much for the support of the channel, my brother. So far this season, nearly every team is performing below par.
Other than Leverkusen.
Below par than Leverkusen, Feyenoord, and Girona. What is happening to football? I don't know, to be honest. I absolutely don't know.
I watch a lot of European football, and I've been paying. I make sure every weekend to watch Leverkusen, Feyenoord. I watch obviously Inter a lot, AC Milan. I try to watch everything. So for me, for Leverkusen, like I said with Xabi Alonso, I think the fit is just really nice. I think he's done a really good career move, as that is his first job in a Big 5 league. He managed Real Sociedad's B team in the lower tiers of Spanish football, but he's got them playing awesome. I don't think anything's happened to football. I just think those 3 clubs, Feyenoord, Girona, and Leverkusen, they're just performing really, really well at the moment. Girona have a really identifiable style of play in football, and Savio has been an awesome player for them as well. And then Feyenoord, like I said, they're my dark horse of the UEFA Champions League so far. I think they could go on a run in the Champions League. Like, they are going to be a team that nobody wants to drop, because nobody's getting results at the Kuip right now. They're smashing in loads of goals in the Eredivisie. And Santi Jimenez is that real awesome focal point. They got depth at winger with guys like Jachenbach performing, Yakuba Minta, who's on loan from Newcastle. You've got guys like Calvin Stanks, who's doing a great job. That midfield three of Zerouki, Vifa, and I forget the other guy's name at the moment. But man, Feyenoord are an awesome watch. If you guys have the time to watch Feyenoord, they destroyed Lazio today. They took us to the cleaners, if I'm honest. And I saw it coming. Because nobody's winning at the Kuip recently. But I don't think anything's happening to football. But yeah, it is interesting seeing them three teams.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Thank you, Salmani, for the super chat, of course. Ahmed Suleiman asked a question earlier. If you were Jamal Musiala, where would you go? There's only one place to go, Ahmed. There's only one place to go. It's called Manchester City. If you have the choice to go, you go to Manchester City. Other than, one thing, to be honest, maybe Real Madrid, if they get Haaland, if they get Kylian Mbappe, but Manchester City under Pep Guardiola is the place to develop, the place to be. Without a question, it's all about Manchester City. It's all about Manchester City. What happens to Foden then? Well, what do you mean what happens to Foden? Foden is long-term KDB replacement. I am telling you, a midfield of Jamal Musiala, Phil Foden, and Rodri behind him is absolutely dangerous.
Yeah.
Julian Alvarez, I don't know where he plays. Maybe Foden plays also right winger as well, Doku left winger, and you play Julian Alvarez behind. I actually think that Jamal Musiala will suit Manchester. Jamal Musiala as a midfielder is a very good replacement for someone like Gundogan last year. Gundogan in the second half of the season wasn't doing a lot of defensive work because it was behind him John Stones and was behind him Rodri. They didn't need him to do a lot of defensive work, so he was kind of free. And I think Jamal Musiala in that role will be absolutely a killer for Manchester City, in my opinion. You know the thing that I've been looking for, and I think Arsenal fans can help me as well.
Yeah.
Who is the ideal number 8 to replace Xhaka for Arsenal when Declan Rice plays as a 6? And don't give me names from Lyon. Don't give me names from Lazio. I want real names. I want established names. I want someone to come in at Arsenal and make them 2 to 3 times stronger. Someone that will come in, help Odegaard, help Gabriel Jesus, help Martinelli, help Saka. That's the one. I want someone that if he comes in January, makes them title favorites. Do you have a name? Does anybody in the chat have a name? I see Paqueta's name being thrown in.
Yeah, that would work for them, definitely. I don't think anyone that they bring in would make them title favorites unless they went crazy in January. And that those guys hit the ground running. Because nothing in football is a given. So just because let's say they did get Paqueta, I don't think that makes them an established favorite to win the league just because I still do, like I said, I think there's an arm's length that Man City have on a.
You really think there's an arm's length where Arsenal are actually?
I think so. Still, yeah, because Man City do this year in, year out. Everybody, like Liverpool. I think Liverpool probably have a little bit of it on. I think they got something on Arsenal in terms of it's not an arms gap from Man City, but there still is a gap. I still do have Man City as title favorites. And also the thing is, Mo, even if Arsenal brought in Paqueta, Man City can bring in guys in January too, right? And they've done it before where they bring in someone in January and they make a difference. So it's like, even Arsenal can only do what Arsenal they can bring in. But if Man City bring in someone that brings them to another level, then, again, that for me also has to be taken into consideration.
120 people here. Can we get to 100 likes, people? Can we get to 100 likes? Can we get to 100 likes? That's the question. We'll keep going for like 5-10 minutes. Of course, get your questions in. Ahmed Salmani with another super chat. He's saying, but I haven't seen a convincing performance other than the results from any major team for more than a week. I'm telling you, that's very true. I'm absolutely telling you, Salimani, that's very true. There is not even one team that is 100% convincing. Even Barcelona in the league, couple of games struggled. But that's what you see in the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
Salimani. And because it was a World Cup last year, players played a lot of games. And by the way, this transfer window, in my opinion, has been one of the biggest transfer windows. The only team for me that didn't change a lot is Barcelona. But even though Ousmane Dembele left, Bayern Munich got Harry Kane. The Premier League, we know what happened. Everyone in the Premier League changed their team. Even Manchester City. Look at the lineup today with Rico Lewis, with Nunes, with Kovacic and Doku. That's kind of like, let's say Rico Lewis played last. It's 5 players that are new, or 4 players that are new to this team, right? So I think Arsenal, we know what happened to them. They can't find the rhythm. Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Partey injured, Declan Rice, Kai Havertz. That's a lot to ask. Manchester United, we all know. So there is no team that is consistent from last year, because I don't think this season at the moment is a continuation of last year's sport.
Yeah.
It isn't. I don't think any team can say, yeah, it's a continuation. Look at Liverpool's midfield. Oh, it's a continuation from last year. It's not a continuation. No team. The only team that continued from last year, in my opinion, is Aston Villa. The only one team that continues. Even Newcastle, look at Anthony Gordon. Sven Botman is injured. They got Lewis Hall. They got Livramento. They got Tonali this year. Even them, they changed some of the guys.
Right.
I think V1K United became a member. Guys, if you're a member, check out the membership in the community so you can become, if you want to be on a video with me. Thank you for the support, my man, V1K United. Appreciate everybody that is sending super chats. Appreciate everybody that is being a member for this channel. Of course, Mo, the only consistency is inconsistency this season. 100%, my friend, which is very strange, but at the same time, no, it's very strange that a team that won a treble isn't starting the season consistently, because they lost. Like Kevin De Bruyne, he didn't play the final. They lost Gundogan. Well, Newcastle is the one that is surprising to me. I see the ups and downs in Newcastle. That's one of the problems.
Yeah, I do. I would agree with you. There are some games where it's like, there are some games where, it is up and down, like West Ham away. I thought we were going to draw that game, to be honest, because you're right, Mo. I can see an up and down. We had the huge win against Paris Saint-Germain, and then it kind of, dipped a little bit when we played West Ham. So, like, we aren't the finished product yet and everything. We're a work in progress, and that's fine. That's fine, because all I wanted, and this just goes back to the whole takeover thing, I wanted Mike Ashley to hell out and just something new, something fresh, someone to care about the club. And we got that and then some. So I'm happy, very, very happy to just be along for the ride. I'm just enjoying Newcastle right now. We aren't going to win every game. We're not going to dominate every game. There are going to be ups and downs. I get that. But yeah, it's just, it's exciting. We tonight wasn't our night, but like you said, it was a down tonight, but we've got ups too. So
yeah. Okay, people in the chat, get 100 likes and fasten your seat belt. Primetime entertainment, box office opinions. Someone you hate, you like. He's absolutely listen. He blessed us today with. I was gonna go for like 10 minutes with him. Depends on you guys. Here you go. It's box office entertainment.
I've come to get you, Steve. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Not much, man. How's it going?
We're talking about Manchester City and also Arsenal. Why there is no continuation this year? It's a very good question. I need to ask you then. No, there is no team that is continuous from last year, if you notice. The only team is Aston Villa. Everybody else, is it because of new players? Why nobody is continuous from last year? The form, the way they play, everything.
Brighton, maybe a little bit.
Well, even Brighton, they had to get new players. Brighton up and down. Like, look at them.
But I mean, they were up and down a little bit last year, right? Too. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Like they changed Mahmoud Daoud, they changed the midfield, the defense as well.
Tons of players
Milner,
changed.
They changed your players as well, like this guy and Guerra, that new guy.
Ansu Fati on loan.
Yeah.
Brighton. I again, Brighton are one of them where it's like they've been, all three of us in Villa, Brighton, and Newcastle, we were all in the championship like what 7 years ago, somewhere like that, and we're all just kind of happy to be on the somewhat of an ascendancy. So like, yeah, I think definitely with Brighton, I would agree with you though that Villa are the ones continuing on. They've won 11 straight home games. Like, who is going to go to Villa Park right now and beat them? We wouldn't. We would go there and lose.
I don't know. I think it'd be a good game between you guys, to be honest with you.
What happens is with head-to-heads against Villa, it's happened for years. Every single game we host Villa, we win, and sometimes we even destroy them. And then when we go to their place, they destroy us.
Yeah, but I'm not one who necessarily believes in results of the past repeating themselves, right? So I always take it season by season, game by game, who's on form, who's not, who's injured, who's not, how each team is playing on the day. I look, I know that football fans love that whole thing, right? You haven't beaten us at home in 27 years. I could care less, right? None of that matters to me. All that matters to me is now,
right?
When it comes to performances on the day. Look, there's definitely a mental block or something. But if the players are all new, like for example, the history of us not winning here, not winning there, isn't as big of an impact when you have 7 new starters versus last season, right?
And when they have new teams as well.
Yeah, because they haven't experienced that. They don't have that mentality sitting in the back of their mind that we're going to struggle today. They're just excited to be there, especially when they're young. So I'm telling you, young teams, Chelsea's going to be dangerous in times. They have a young team. Young players are a lot more enthusiastic. They want to prove themselves. They want to do their things. So yeah, they're going to have bad games. They're going to struggle, but they're also going to win games that most people think that they shouldn't. And it's because of the mentality of youth, right? Is what it is.
Definitely.
Super chat. Another one from Salimani saying my theory was because of nonsense international breaks. They always happened. And question is Conrad Lema the worst player that played for a top 50 club? Well, I don't know who's. Is that Lema for RB Leipzig?
No, Bayern München.
The one that went to Bayern München. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's. I'm not a fan of his. I'm really not a fan of his. I think the double pivot of Kimmich and Leimer, it doesn't work. But Tuchel, he's gonna do what he does. I'm not happy about it, but whatever. Like Galatasaray played Bayern off the park yesterday. Let's be real. Yeah, it was crazy. But I
think they played well. Galatasaray has always been a decent team. I wouldn't necessarily say they played Bayern off the park. I mean, they got scoreline definitely doesn't show that, right? So
they played off the park, and I was about to say that Gala just that the finishing was kind of lacking a bit, definitely. But
yeah, but this is the thing. I think this is too is like when a team struggles to finish consistently, then you can't say that they should have done anything. That's the norm for them, right? Like a lot of times, like when Arsenal fans say that, Jesus or Nketiah should have finished these chances. No, they shouldn't have. They don't on a regular basis, right? Yes, from 30,000 feet, in best case scenario, you would like, your players to be able to finish like that, but you have to look at the individual and what they're capable of, right? It's a horrible expectation if I have a son who struggles with math for him to get an A, right? I shouldn't say you should get an A, right?
I was saying it, yeah. Well, what I meant by that Galatasaray struggled to finish was like in the game, just on that basis, I thought they should have put more past Bayern, if I'm honest. Like Aktürkoğlu had that chance. I think he's awesome, by the way. Aktürkoğlu, I think he should get a move to I think at Spurs he would be an awesome player. I would take him at Newcastle, someone like that. I'm a big fan of his. Like Icardi had, I think, a chance or two. But like in game, I thought Galatasaray should have done better. But
Ahmed Suleiman gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Ahmed, for supporting the channel. If you became a member now, it's because of Ahmed. If the people that got members, the Mad Hatter, of course, Carefree Chloe, Az Miller, Sean C, and Robert Mori. You guys, thanks for Ahmed Suleiman for gifting memberships. Appreciate it. There's a question that someone is asking.
Mm.
Someone said, the question for Will. I'm going to respect the super chatters, of course, but I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think genuinely you would have won the game if the Liverpool goal stood?
Yeah, I think that it would have been either a draw. I think draw was probably the most likely result in that particular scenario if the goal had stood. I mean, they were still down to 10 men at that point, so that aspect of the game wouldn't have changed. If we go a goal behind, we're playing a different game. The defenders are going to be more awake. They're going to be more cautious to protect their goal. Our attackers are going to be more pushing forward to, the pace of the game is going to speed up because now we need to score a goal. I think the game, it's a completely different game. Like you don't just drop that one goal in and every result that happens after that is exactly the same. That's just not how reality works. And then there's no logic that you could even state that if they score that goal, Jota doesn't continually foul and get 2 yellow cards. That could still easily happen on the pace of play. I mean, the whole game is different at that point. There's no way that anybody can make any type of logical argument to say that the game would have ended in any particular way because we didn't see it. It's all hypothetical at that point.
Hypotheticals, yeah.
In my
look at
opinion,
Arsenal.
Liverpool win the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that
for reasons. Yeah,
no...
but I don't know. Like, I'm not saying I know, right?
Yeah.
I would expect them to win the game because I think you would open up even more. The difference between, I think, the Arsenal game and the Liverpool game is that actually Liverpool somehow created their own chances. You didn't make mistakes for them to have 2 or 3 chances like you did as well. The team that you gifted the chances will clearly pass back or someone just not doing something. That was
Arsenal. But the goals didn't come from those chances, right? The goals came from the penalty and the own goal, right? So
who, Arsenal?
Yeah.
No, but what I mean is that in Liverpool, the way I'm seeing it is that if they score that goal and they are ahead with 10 men, you're going to open up even more. With 10 men, if they leave Salah and Diaz, I would back them to get more chances. Just 2 players instead of 3.
Yeah, sure. I think the second red hindered their ability to stay in the game
even
more,
go forward. Yes, of course.
More than the goal being disallowed, right? I think even if they stay down to 10 men, they probably would score a second goal, I would say.
That's right? What I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that you're not going to score, but they would get chances. Of course, going down to 9 men was like, okay, done.
I mean, that ended the game right there. For me,
for me, it didn't end the game because I believe that defending with 9 men is easier than defending with 11 men. I'm going to tell you why.
I agree.
For one reason, because when you coach football, when I coach a team and I coach kids, if you go down at halftime, or your plans are always focused on the defensive aspect, so the player doesn't have to think what is going to happen when we go forward. He doesn't have to have 2 thoughts in his brain in every play. It's only one thought. Where would I stand on the pitch defensively? Offense, even the midfielders, when they're defending, when you're 11 men and you're asked to defend, you're still thinking, when we get the ball, I need to be in the right place because of the transition. Defending with 9 men, you put the 8 players, banks of 4, and that's it. Or 5 and 3. And the player doesn't even have to think about going forward. They had no forwards, right? When they went to 9 men?
Yeah, well, after, I think it was about the second yellow happened in the 69th minute, and I think they brought everybody off in around the 75th or 78th minute, I think, after we took off Son and Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they actually let everybody out, and then they put midfielders in.
Yeah.
That's my point. But that's it. Like, there is... Like the Arsenal yesterday, the last point I wanted to ask is that people said Arsenal should be positive for yesterday's win, but people still said, yes, but Odegaard wasn't there, we got pressed, we conceded from the corner. Is that a positive win yesterday in terms of going forward, or is just the 3 points in the Champions League?
I didn't see the first half, but I did watch the second half. So I watched from about the 43rd minute on. And for me, the game looked like it was all Seville. Like Arsenal was just sitting there trying to keep their 2-0 or 2-1, lead. It didn't seem. I didn't see Arsenal go on a single attacking run in the entire second half that I can remember. Right, like they might have had a couple of counterattacks with half chances, but nothing that really even tested Sevilla at all in that second half. it was all Sevilla. And then towards the end, it got even more and more and more Sevilla. There were several times when Arsenal tried to take the ball down the other half, ended up making a mistake, turning the ball over, and it was going right back down the other side. And look, people think that I have agenda against Arsenal. I don't. I'm just being honest about what I see. And because I'm not a fan of Arsenal, there's no reason for me to sugarcoat it, right? So I'm just being as blunt and as abrasive as possible because 1, it's fun, and 2, it winds Gooners up, and 3, I believe in what I say. So the reasons why I do and say what I say. Look, for me, if I was an Arsenal fan right now, I personally, like, I made a comment, and I think you guys read it on a show. I can't remember which show it was, but I put in a super chat. It might have been Staffy's, or it might have been one of your shows earlier. I can't remember, but it basically said the Spurs remind me, Arsenal this year remind me of Spurs last year under Conte. I didn't mean the playing style or the system. Obviously, the systems are different, but what I'm talking about is not putting in, even 7 out of 10 performances on the day, but still getting a result.
Mhm.
The Spurs were doing last season under Conte for the first 13 games, all the way up until Conte walked out the door in the league. We were putting in 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 performances on the day and getting a draw, getting a win, right? We lost very few games up until that point. And then once, obviously we all know what happened after that, the crap hit the fan and we dropped off of a cliff, right? So
Yeah.
if I was an Arsenal fan, I think they look more like the season that they finished 5th than the season that they finished 2nd. That's what they look like to me. They were getting results then. They went on that whole run, and people were like, when they were on 38 points, it was like, come outside, Tottenham fans. Where are you? Nobody's catching us. We're getting top 4, and then blah, 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 blah. This is the team. Like, I think that they could easily go to Sheffield United or have Sheffield United come to their place and draw. Sheffield United scoreline tight. Sheffield United can score from set pieces, and all it takes is one pen in a corner, and it's 2-2.
They held you guys. They
held City, right?
They almost did, but at the last minute, yeah.
But I mean, City won in the last 10 minutes of the game as well.
Someone is asking me, new here, Mo, will you take... Number one, I'm not a Man United fan, not because I'm wearing red. Still Cal. Big up, thank you, big up Salmani for another super chat. Even Galatasaray, he means, before he had been waste of space. I don't know who is he talking about, but yeah, you guys were talking about somebody. But Salmani, thank you so much for the support, the super chat. So to answer your question, I'm not a Man United fan. I wouldn't take anybody at Man United, but Eric Dyer,
it's terrible.
Let me wait.
No.
He's not as bad as what people make him be. And I said that many times, and people didn't believe me. And Spurs fans hate me for saying that.
No, he's not. Look, he's really not.
The way they're making him look is that he's some people say he's a championship level.
No, defender. Yeah, but that's hyperbolic.
And I'm like, you are crazy.
Now, Eric Dyer would be a good defender for somebody like a Bournemouth or Sheffield United. I think he would play really well for them.
The thing about it, then, I actually don't think that Eric Dyer is a center back. I think Eric Dyer,
defensive midfielder,
is a defensive midfielder. Yeah. A simple, destructive player that passes the ball to the next guy he sees. Like he cuts the ball, passes the ball to the next guy he sees. Don't ask Eric Dyer to lead the defense. Don't ask Eric Dyer to create angles for other players. He isn't gonna do that. So I actually think Eric Dyer isn't that. Oh my God, people talk about Eric Dyer.
What's up, Hassan? He keeps saying my name.
Sam, I don't know why he's saying your name.
Well, and I never said that you were an agenda merchant, by the way, Sam. I said that you had a hysteria. There's a difference, right?
What do you mean? People ask me, who do I take? Who do I take where? Which club?
Yeah,
from Liverpool, there is only one player that I will take, is Mohamed Salah. Nobody else. Well, I'll take a lot of other people, but I'll take Mohamed Salah before anybody else. Alisson as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we've got. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it was off subject. It was off topic, so I was just gonna pull it out. But basically, it's just like I wouldn't say Hassam has an agenda because it's Mo-genda. That's Mo's title, right? So it's Mo-genda and Hassam Hysteria. I had to give Hassam a new nickname, right?
Yeah, I actually had no idea who named me Mo-genda, and it was a joke and never a foul. To be honest, a joke we never have found. Someone put in, I think Martin, who was gonna be here today but got caught up.
Yeah, every time,
No, he was gonna be here with you. He doesn't even know that you have the link. He's a Californian, by the way. I think he's West Coast.
Yeah, it's a bit early for them still. So
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, people, there's a last chance if you want to send a question or super chat. But because I'm gonna end this, I don't want to go. This goes past the hour. I'm gonna give it a second. Make sure Tottenham away. I'm watching some of their streams. It's not an echo chamber. I like that.
no,
Everybody has an opinion.
No.
I like that. Go give them a subscription. Of course, Steve, you have a channel as well.
Yeah, Strasbourg Steve on YouTube. I do tons of content and mostly watch-alongs from outside of the Premier League because everybody does Premier League watch-alongs. They ain't gonna watch me. They ain't picking me to do that. But yeah, I do. I cover a bunch of different leagues and stuff like that. I'm just a huge football fan, so that's where you can find me at. Just Strasbourg Steve. Search it up. There you go. So.
Yeah, people, hit that like button before you go. Thanks, Will. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Steve.
Having me, bro.
We'll see. Hopefully, next one. Will you be in a Manchester Derby program? Yes, I will be having a preview. I don't know who yet, but we're in talks. Thank you, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you guys soon, and we're out.
Later, guys.
Peace out.